So I hear you talk about different places is different kind of the way that the concepts work. Does this also have impact on the price? Is a burger from Hans im Glück always the same price, or does this differ from location to location?
Definitely differs because pricing is definitely the deal of our partners. So we are not able and willing or even allowed to govern that. So we do, of course, we calculate in advance. So if we have a new menu, of course, we calculate and describe several pricings. So a range of prices that we deem to be right, we deem to be sufficient for both of us to live from that, right? And but partners, if they decide not to follow that, I mean, that's basically what they can do, unless it, of course, may not be as as strongly diverting, so that you have like 100 euros for a burger. That's just not allowed, because you would kind of inflict the brand with the product. So,
Okay,
but that's
course.
just a certain thing that you cannot do.
So there are guidelines, but there are no obligations.
Exactly.
And so you mentioned that it's not allowed to set a price.
Yeah, in Germany it's not allowed, because if different companies collaborate and there's a certain word which I don't know the English expression for. In German it's Preisabsprache. If you everyone in different companies agrees on a certain pricing, what does it make to the market? So that's just not allowed. And therefore
all right.
I don't know if that is the same for Belgium or many other European countries, but I assume so. Well, maybe it's called different, but
no, the concept of course for sure exists. Only we see, of course, in reality we see quite often that the same burger in the same restaurant, even managed by different let's say corporates or different businesses, that they have the same price. So that is
because maybe they just
very
follow
much by accident then.
But maybe they no, it's just not accident. But keep in mind, if you basically have the same concept, so you have the same cost for your food and beverage, you have pretty much the same cost for labor, you have pretty much everything is pretty much similar, at least in a certain way. Then why should you have an extremely different pricing there? So I think there's just no real reason for that. So I think it's not just by accident, but of course, as we give some examples, we give some ideas of the pricing. You can follow them or not, but it's not like we did it the first time, the calculation, and it's all based on, of course, the knowledge of our 96 restaurants and their KPIs. So we definitely know what kind of pricing do you have to put out there in order to have a certain margin, because let's be clear, all these beautiful things, all the soft facts that are really necessary in our case, they don't mean nothing if there's no margin at all, because everyone has to live from something, right? And also our franchise partners need to make a living from that. So basically that's important in my opinion.
A little bit earlier in the conversation, you also mentioned that you want to reduce your the company-owned restaurants. Is the plan to reduce this to zero, or do you, of course, over a long time, or do you need a few to kind of experiment and keep touch with the end customer yourself, or is this not necessary?
Well, you gave a perfect answer to your own question.
Thank you very much.
Last is of course true because we will always need some idea of training, how to train and what to train. We need to experiment, as you say, exactly. So, and we shall not be completely detached from our customers. So therefore, I think a reasonable amount of restaurants will always kind of be maintained in our own companies. And also, if you think about internationalization, often the first restaurant is a company owned, because then you learn somewhat of the new market and you kind of take the first hit, so to speak, and not your partner. So it always makes sense in a certain way. And every once in a while, it happens that we open up a restaurant ourselves,
Hmm.
and not much later, a partner comes and purchases this restaurant from us,
Yeah.
and that just happened a couple of times already, and it's not a very strategic way to do so, but every once in a while you have an opportunity, and then you just take it, right? And
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
what comes later on in the long term is a completely different story.